So, first thing I want to say, it is never too late to start a pension. You can contribute into a pension up until the age of 75. And in fact, the oldest that I've ever started a pension for someone is someone who, it was just before her 75th birthday. And actually I've organised a lot of pensions for individuals in their 70s. So it's definitely not too late. It's also never too early. You can start investing into a pension from the day that you're born. What I would say is that if you're 45, never invested in a pension, it may be worth having someone just take a look at it for you, have a look at what your savings will be worth in the future and help you work out the right amount. It may be that you just need to contribute a little bit more or look at your other savings options. A pension is for life. It is not just for Christmas. So if you think that you've had pensions in the past and you've lost track of them, firstly, you're not alone. And secondly, they are yours, and it's worthwhile trying to track them down and finding out the information. I help a lot of clients do this. There are many, many different ways. The government has a website where you can find contact details of pension providers for employers, so you can try and Google that, or just let me know and I will get you a link on how to do that. But I also help people look for them. It may involve a little bit of effort on your side, but given that there are billions and billions of pounds worth of unclaimed pensions in the UK alone, it could be very worthwhile you doing that extra bit of work. So definitely give it a shot. Get in touch if you want a little bit of help. I help a lot of people find and unearth pensions that they did not know they had. Definitely find those out. So in 2015, the UK government introduced pension freedoms. It allowed people to have more options of what to do with their pension savings when they retired. However, I will go through what those options are, but all pensions are not equal. It will depend on what pension you have, what provider it's with, and what options you have. Very often, I see people with pensions and they wish to retire and use certain options and they are not available. Okay, so it is important to check this out. Either speak to a professional like myself or just ask your pension provider or providers what you have. So, different options when you retire. The main big option that came around in 2015 was the ability for you to be able to just withdraw cash from your pension. Now, most defined contribution pensions, I call those money pot pensions. They're literally a pot of your investments, a pot of your money that you've saved hard over the years. You should be entitled to 25% of that pot available as a tax-free, either a tax-free lump sum, or if you take out just a portion of your pension, 25% of that portion or a cake slice or that lump sum will be tax-free. What that also means is the other 75% is taxable. Okay, it's taxable as income. So if you take it out as a large lump sum, let's just use easy numbers. If you've got a £100,000 defined contribution pension, if you take out £25,000 tax-free lump sum, you can have that money put into your bank account, no tax implications, and you can spend that on a wonderful retirement, whatever your needs are. The other 75%, if you take it out, that's £75,000, it will be viewed as income. So for most people, that means you'll be at least a higher rate taxpayer, and it will be 40% income tax on it, which means that may not be the best option. In fact, for most people, it's not the best option. So what I would say is definitely speak to a professional about what your options are, but also what's suitable for you. So you can either take the 25% as a tax-free lump sum, and then that other 75%, you can either withdraw it over time, little bit by little bit, as and when you need. You can buy an annuity with it. An annuity is just another way of saying an income for the rest of your life. That is suitable for some people, not always suitable for everyone, but that's quite a common option. You can take out a cake slice. If you've got £100,000 and you just want to take out £10,000, 25% of that, for the most part, will be tax-free, and the other 75% will be taxed as income tax. And you will have different options as well, depending on who your provider is. Those are the main ones, but it's definitely worth checking what you have. If you've got more than one pension, you may have different availability of different options from the different pension providers. You're right to be worried about the state of the economy. Your pension, if it's a defined contribution pension, chances are you will be invested in different investments that will likely move in line with the markets. Therefore, at a time like we're going through now, the value of your pension can go up or down. In terms of protecting that, there are definitely different things that you can do in order to ensure that your pension is invested suitably for you. The first thing I want to say is, if you're a long way away from retirement, history has shown us that when you have dips in the market, then actually staying strong and staying invested has been the best course of action, and that over time you can recoup your losses and more. Having said that, that's just historical basis, and it can sometimes help keep some people up at night. What's really important is have a think about your pensions. Have a think about where they're invested, what they're doing. Are they invested in the right instruments for you? Is it suitable for when you're going to retire? Is it suitable for what your needs are and what's right with you? Have you assessed your attitude to risk? Have you looked at what those investments are and what the risks are? And just make sure that you know what you've got, that it's working in the right way for you, and that it's suitable. All I would say is, if you don't know the answer to those questions, if you think that the answer to those questions will keep you up at night, then speak to a professional, speak to someone. I help people a lot of the time evaluate what their pensions are invested in, what the risks are, and whether that's suitable for them. If you're coming up to retirement soon, I would definitely recommend you have a look and assess where your pension investments are. Before the COVID crisis, a lot of people were invested with their pensions and were waiting to retire, and of course the markets went down, and it meant that a lot of people had to delay their retirement or retire on less money. If you have someone looking after your investments with you, that should not happen, or at least you should be evaluating those risks with them. Now, there are different types of pensions. I have mentioned already the defined contribution pension. It does what it says on the tin. You contribute a certain amount into your pension, and that amount is certain. It's then in a pot, and then that pot is invested to grow, and hopefully grow substantially, to help you with your retirement. That is a very simplistic way of describing it. A defined benefit pension is the other way around. These are pensions that you will get in the workplace. There are very few of them around now, but there are some defined benefit pensions still around that you can get, usually in the public sector, teachers, NHS, and so on. These are pensions that you contribute into, and your employer contributes into, and they guarantee you a certain income when you retire for the rest of your life. Hence, defined benefit. The benefit that you receive in retirement is defined. It's usually a percentage of your final salary or of your career average salary. That's a defined benefit pension. They're very different to defined contribution pensions. And defined contribution and defined benefit pensions each have their own advantages and disadvantages. So if you have a pension and you're not quite sure what it is or if it's suitable, talk to a professional. Depending on who your pension provider is, you should absolutely be able to have flexibility to contribute into your pension what makes sense to you. You will be capped by that annual allowance that I mentioned before. You're also capped by a lifetime allowance, how much you can contribute into your pension over your lifetime. But you should be able to contribute in a certain amount a month, also ad hoc amounts as well. And in fact, if you're self-employed, I actually recommend that you do have a think about putting in something regular each month, and then if you've had a good year, before the end of the tax year, maybe putting in a bit of a lump sum as well, because it will help you out with your taxes. But yes, you should be able to increase your pension contributions. It will depend on who your pension provider is. It will depend on all the limits I've mentioned before when it comes to allowances and what you're allowed to contribute into your pension. But absolutely, if you want to contribute more into your pension, that's a great idea, and definitely think about it. Thanks a lot. Bye.